Getting started soon. Send any link about Elon ruining the country to the Discord.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. How is everybody today? I am doing great. Thank you. Um, Today is Saturday. Hi, Valor. Thanks for coming. Valor is my 69th follower on Twitch. It is a very important position that they take very importantly and recognize that it is very important, and no one can take that away from them. So that's very nice and very cool. The beard is looking. Yeah, I trimmed it the other day. It's still getting a little scraggly over here. What the hell happened to my hair? I know the headphones cause the hair to stand up when it shouldn't. Yeah, I got a little scraggledy, but I trimmed it with the hair trimmer and all that fun stuff. So it's a little bit more even. I'm gonna let it grow wild over the next 30 days or so that when I do go to Comic Con, Emerald City Comic Con on Friday, the 7th of March, I'll have my Harry Dubois costume on. I'll have the jacket. I have the tie. And I'll look like a scraggly mess. And I'll shave just a little bottom part right here so that it'll look silly. That'll be a Friday. And then I will do Saturday's stream, March the 8th, with the costume on. And I'll put a couple of photos on the Discord. Of course, you can go to the Discord right there. And it'll be a good time. And I'll do Saturday's stream like that. But then I can't really go into work looking like Harry Dubois, so I'll shave everything else off probably right after that stream. I don't love the beard. It's annoying and weird, and I have to keep trimming right here so that I'm not eating my mustache all the time. It's just a thing that I don't want to take care of. Thank you for saying it looks nice, though. I appreciate that. When you think the water wars will start, the water wars are coming. 5 more years tops, maybe. If we're lucky, it's 5 years. I don't know that we're going to have 5 more years. I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But yeah, today is Saturdays. I've got a handful of links. I've got some rant sort of typed up, but not really. I've got a little bit of a rant typed up today. We're going to look at the news, and then we'll talk about it. So if you're here, if you're paying attention, hop in a chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Go on over to the Discord, and you can leave links to things that you think we should talk about. I've got, let's see. Yeah, there's a bunch of channels over there. Leave links. I'll bring it up on screen. We'll talk about it together. It'll be a good time. I've got fun emotes, but I need to replace some of the emotes. We have, let's see, where is it? There's, yeah, the Dark Brandon emote has got to go. Dark Brandon emote has got to go. He is dead and gone, and we are unhappy with him. So he's got to go. And then I also have to fix the cheer button that makes Biden laugh every time somebody gives me a bit. I don't. We're gonna distance ourselves from Mr. Biden. He did a bad job, and he allowed this to happen, and we're upset with him. He didn't do a very good job. So we're gonna stop celebrating him. Was he better than the alternative? Yes. Is everything worse now? Also, yes. Is that his fault somehow? Yeah, kind of. He is slightly responsible for the things that have happened over the past couple of weeks, and it's kind of his fault. He could have, I think, sooner dropped out. He discussed being only a one-term president way back in 2020. Why didn't he stick with that? So we're upset with him. So I'm going to replace him with something else. If you have any suggestions, go on over to the Discord. Tell me what new emote I should put in place. We already have Emo Waldo, and he's going to get some use today, because I don't know if you've noticed it, but there was a little bit of a religious story to talk about today. So Emo Waldo's going to come out to play at the end of the stream today. And then I think, what else do we have? Just the regular Drama Llama is one of my favorites. He gets to stay. Drama Llama gets to stay. Drama Llama is here for good. And then what else do we have? We have, the conservative blind spot. So anytime you notice conservatives not paying attention to a thing or ignoring reality, you toss the conservative blind spot out there. So those are the ones that are staying. We need a new one to replace good old Dark Brandon. And so anything that you suggest, I will take into consideration, and we can look at it and make a little community together. It'll be fun. That's how this system works, apparently. So let's get into the news without any further ado. I've got some links to look at that I'm sure are very important. Let me start up the webcam screen. We go to the webcam screen. We use the drop down to go here. Cybertruck appears to be more deadly than the infamous Ford Pinto, according to a new analysis. I'm sure this has nothing to do with anything that's happening in the world right now. I don't know why I even brought it up, right? Why would I even point out the shocking failure of the Tesla truck? It's not like the guy who invented it and talked about it and bragged about it for a goddamn decade is in charge of our entire fucking planet right now. Let's look for the math. The site arrives at the conclusion by comparing the total units sold so far, 34,438 for the Cybertruck, compared to the 3 million for the ill-fated Pinto, discontinued in 1980, and comparing reported fire fatalities for both. The current rate of horrible fiery deaths the Cybertruck will have 14 fatalities per 100,000 units, far eclipsing the Pinto's 0.85. In absolute terms, 27 Pinto drivers died in fires, while 5 Cybertruck drivers have suffered the same fate, at least so far. This is bad, Joe. This is real bad. This is so damn unnecessary. And that leads me into today's topic. You can see the title. You can see the what I'm going to rant about today. Elon is ruining our society. He really is. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a stupid old saying. You've heard it 1,000 times. But what does it really mean? It means that big, impressive societies that have a lot of moving parts are not easy to assemble. Putting together intricate networks takes time. You can be pissed off about the U.S. government, and that's fine. You can be upsetty spaghetti about the slow, plodding way the government operates. But that's how it's supposed to operate. Slow, plodding, careful. You do not want a lightning-fast government. A slow, deliberate, and cautious government will harm the fewest people. All government actions have the chance for harm, even the good actions. Before I get into the rant, there's a dog licking my toes. We have to take a break. We have to take a Bobo break because he's here. Bobo break. I know. I was just getting into the zone. Oh, he just got back from his walk, so he is wet and muddy and icy and filthy and stinky. He just got back from his walk. He is muddy and wet and smells like ass, like a wet dog. He is stinky and gross, aren't you? He doesn't like that I'm talking bad about him. He doesn't like it. Okay. Oh, God. And now I'm muddy and stinky, and I smell like a wet dog. It's true. He does have a fragile ego. We have to baby him and speak nicely of him. Okay, yeah. Bubble break before I get into the good part of the rant. The rant. What was I talking about? Yeah. All government actions can harm you, even the good ones. Building a large school could disrupt the ecosystem, displacing wildlife. Building a road to that school could cause traffic and noise where there was none before. Building a stoplight for that traffic could cause accidents. Those accidents will need the attention of more police. Those police will need to be paid for by local taxes. Those taxes could be placed on small businesses who are already struggling. Those businesses will fail and they get replaced by corporations like Walmart. Walmart then becomes the main source of employment in the area. And they pay so poorly that all of their employees are on food stamps and government assistance. People leave the area because there are no job opportunities. The population drops. And now the school that started all this sits empty and unused. Everything is connected to everything. And that is the point. You do not live in a vacuum. America is not isolated. Our global society is a gigantic web of interconnected nodes. Elon Musk is chopping them down with reckless abandon. The holistic approach is by the far right the only valid. Holistic approach. Everything is connected to everything. There are no islands. No man is an island. So let's look at this right here. Not that. We already saw that. The greatest threat we've ever faced. U.S. Treasury Division classifies Doge staff as extreme danger. The intelligence team within the department recommended stripping Doge staffers of their access to data immediately because they're just in there doing whatever they want with reckless abandon. An intelligence team within the U.S. Treasury Department said Elon Musk's slash and burn Department of Government Efficiency represents the single greatest insider threat risk they have ever faced in an email sent to staffers this week. That email, in which the agency's threat intelligence team recommends suspending all access to members of Doge, was obtained by Wired news of the team. By Wired news of the team's feelings on the seemingly widespread incursion into sensitive data by Elon Musk's Youth Brigade came after Doge had its access to Bureau of Fiscal Services records significantly curtailed by a federal judge. There is ongoing litigation, congressional legislation, and widespread protests relating to Doge's access to the Treasury and the Bureau of Fiscal Services. If Doge members have any access to payment systems, we recommend suspending that access immediately and conducting a comprehensive review of all the actions they may have taken in the systems. This might not matter. A federal judge has blocked Elon Musk's Doge from accessing sensitive U.S. Treasury Department material, but it might not matter. It may be too late. Lawsuits take time, years sometimes. He is taking that information now. You might not be able to stop him with laws and judges. We need the federal law enforcement to step in. Bad news, they're owned by Donald Trump. He is in charge of executing and administering the Justice Department and the federal law enforcement. Well, you gotta go. Dog barking at me. And because he won't do anything, because he likes it, the laws will be ignored. The lawsuits will be ignored. The judge's words are ignored. Let's look at this one. See, this guy. You probably saw this guy. Some dude. I've been calling him. This is some dude. Just standing in front of the Department of Education. Now, some dude here wants to be harassed. There are armed security guards behind the door. You can probably see them. I'm going to play the video, but without the audio because they're not saying anything important. Here is some dude, and you can see some armed security guards at the back. This is the Department of Education, which I pay for as an American taxpayer. But she can't get in. We don't know what's going on in there. Some dude is blocking the entrance. Why is some dude there? Some dude is there because he wants to be harmed. He wants the protesters to push him out of the way. He wants to be put in handcuffs. He wants someone to get rough with him so that he can probably draw down on them and defend himself violently. He wants violence. He is there as a violence starter. He is the kindling in this little bonfire that we've got going on. And make no mistake, violence is on the way. Elon Musk will continue to disregard what the courts say. He will continue to ignore legislation. He will continue to walk into places that he is not allowed with his little 4chan neo-Nazi team and plug in equipment that is not certified or accepted or a part of the government. And he will take and take and take because he does not care about the law. He does not care about the rules. He's too stupid to audit anything. He's just doing whatever the fuck he wants. And the only way to stop him now is physically. Literally, people with badges and handcuffs have to stop them. But that's not a good answer because enforcement is under Donald Trump's purview. He is in charge of the Department of Justice. He is in charge of the law enforcement within the federal government. So even if the lady here convinced some cops to take away some guy, some dude, if Marsha Blackburn, I think that's who that is, decided to arrest some guy would cry to Donald Trump. Donald Trump would come on TV and he would look into the camera and say, Marsha Blackburn is a criminal. She arrested some guy. Some guy was doing nothing wrong. He was just standing there peacefully protecting your government. She had him arrested. I'm making him a special czar to all law enforcement agencies. Everyone must report to some guy. He was harmed. He was injured. He was ruined. Marsha Blackburn, there is now a warrant for your arrest. That's what he would do. If she had the police remove some guy right here, he would have her arrested. And then she would say no. And then some guy would get removed from jail by other law enforcement. And then we have a law enforcement fight. And then the federal law enforcement would have to pick a side. Do I listen to the Congress and the Constitution, or do I listen to the president? This is going to happen. I don't think it's not going to happen. This is going to happen. We only have two choices at this point. Comply or violence. That's all. That's the only two choices we have left. I'm sorry. I hate to be a doomer about this, but you either comply with allowing Donald Trump and Elon to just do whatever they want with all the laws and all the rules in all the country, or you physically stop them, which will lead to violence. That's all we have. There are no laws that Donald Trump will respect. There are no rules that Elon will not step over. It's over. This is why I said America died on February 3rd. We're 5 days into the death of America. But let's keep looking down these. What else have we got? We've got, is Donald Trump afraid of Elon Musk? I don't think so. I think they're walking hand in hand. There has been a lot of talk about how they both have gigantic egos, and Elon is overstepping his bounds, and Donald Trump is going to bounce back. I don't think so. I think Donald Trump is a beaten down dog and always has been. He says a lot of things. He talks a big game. He wants to just be in front of the TV, but I really don't think that Donald Trump is going to push back against Elon. I really don't think that that's going to happen. Because their aims are just going to be the same. It's fine. Top historian warns Elon Musk is performing a coup. So a historian, let's find out who, leading historian specializing in authoritarianism, has described Elon Musk's government activities as a coup. Timothy Snyder, professor of history and global affairs at Yale. So like a college you've heard of. They didn't go to South Kentucky and find one professor who would say this. This guy works at Yale. He said there is no office that would give him authority to do what he is doing. The coup is, in fact, happening, and if we do not recognize it for what it is, it could succeed. The coup is, in fact, happening. Recognize it. In the third decade of the 21st century, power is more digital than physical. Elon knows that. Hey, look, cool guy. This is a coup. The buildings and the human beings that are there to protect the workings of the computers and thus the workings of the government as a whole, in our case, in principle, democratic government, which is organized and bounded by notion of individual rights. The ongoing actions of Musk and his followers are a coup because the individuals seizing power have no right on it. Elon Musk was elected to no office, and there is no office that would give him the authority to do what he is doing. It is all illegal. It is all a coup. It is intended, in fact, to undo democratic practice and violate human rights. And I don't think we can stop him without violence. I don't think we can. I think we have come to the point where we cannot do it without federal law enforcement. But they all belong to Donald Trump, and he will not tell them to do this. Let's look at... Okay, so yeah, and not only that, we've got actual literal harm starting to happen. The shuttering of U.S. aid could mean the end of millions of income for Midwest farm operations. This isn't hypothetical. This isn't a government worker. These are farmers in the Midwest who will no longer be paid by the government to make food. Does that sound like a good idea to you? Did we intend for Elon to come in and cancel all the food production? Sounds like a bad idea to me. Frozen by Elon's Doge, personnel of the U.S. aid programs purchased $70 million in commodities in 2024 from Minnesota vendors. That is just Minnesota. Minnesota. Didn't they vote for Trump? Didn't they go red this year? Did they? I don't remember. Let me look real quick. Electoral map 2024. Minnesota. No, they went blue. Okay. Well, that's nice. But they're going to be harmed anyway. And this is just one state. There are more states that are going to be harmed by this. Lots of farmers in the Midwest are going to have their pay cut. The government used to buy food from these farmers, you see, because it was good. The government doing things is valuable. They have all this money that they collect from the taxpayers, and then they do intelligent things with it sometimes, and you can complain about them if they don't do an intelligent thing with it. I dig it. But this was a good thing. Paying farmers to grow food is always a good idea. Always. Always a good idea to pay farmers to make food. Worst case scenario, you've got too much food. Oh no. Let's look at this one. 500,000 tons of food risks going to waste as U.S. aid is shut down. This doesn't sound very efficient to me. Elon, Grok, listen. This doesn't sound very efficient. It sounds like you're an idiot who doesn't know what you're doing. More than 500,000 tons of food. Do you like food? I like food. Most people do enjoy food. Risks going to waste, fraud, and abuse. Don't they? Isn't that what Doge is supposed to get rid of? But it's causing the waste. It's almost like the people in charge don't know what the fuck they're doing. As a result of the Trump administration suspending most overseas aid for 90 days, according to the Hearst newspapers, which cites emails it reviewed from an internal food agency. Some of this food is currently stockpiled at various U.S. ports, including Boston, New York, Miami, Houston's port alone has 31,000 tons of food in storage and at the risk of deterioration, according to the email. 30,000 tons of food stuck in Houston port after Trump halts foreign aid. You will be harmed by this. I don't care who you are or where you live. You are going to be harmed by Elon chopping up the government. Either it's through higher food prices, higher taxes, government instability, or loss of benefits. If we're lucky enough to survive, we are going to have to pay to rebuild all of the things he destroyed. Remember the government shutdown that Trump did during his first term? It is, let me see if I got the link. I got the link right here. Let's look at Trump's first shutdown. The government shutdown cost U.S. economy $11 billion extra. Like we just wasted $11 billion by shutting down the economy. This was the longest government shutdown in American history. And Donald Trump needed it to be the biggest because he's an idiot and wanted the biggest, longest shutdown ever because he wants to brag about it because he's an idiot. It costs us extra to do these things. It costs us extra to shut down U.S. aid. It costs us extra to cancel the food. It's wasted. It costs us extra to restart these programs. It costs the farmers more to shut down and then start up later. Everything the Doge is doing is opposite of what they claim to be doing. They're here to get rid of fraud, yet they don't have security clearances. They are frauds. Elon has no right to the power that he's claiming. He has no authority to be in the places that he is in. He does not have the government's approval to put in the devices that he has. Oh, you have got to go, dude. I cannot play with you right now. Dog is just going nuts. Can you guys hear that in the background? He's sitting here chirping at me, yelling at me for not paying attention to him. Sorry, dude. Stream time. You know that. And I'm trying to rant. It's very hard to rant when a dog bites your toes. Elon does not have the authority to do what he's doing because he is a fraud. Waste. We see the waste. Look at all this waste. This is waste. And abuse. He's also abusing the special government contractor that he is. Donald Trump has given him magic powers, and you can't argue with that. They are abusing their power. Doge is the opposite of everything they claim to be, but they're conservative, so you get to do that. Conservatism, as I've said 1,000 times before, is always the opposite of whatever it seems to be. It has changed. It has morphed from what it used to be now to just lies. If you want to be a classic conservative, great, fine, we can talk about that. But if you're supporting what's happening with Donald Trump and Elon today, you are not conservative, you are not small government, you are not anti-authoritarian, you're just supporting authoritarian borderline fascism. Let's see. They won't see all of these inefficiencies because they're idiots. Both of them, Elon and Trump, are too dumb to appreciate the complex web of society that we have built. They think the world is simple, and simple answers must be correct. In their very simple, small brains, they feel correct when they shout memes into a microphone and hear the crowd cheer. If the crowd cheers about the thing that you said, it must be right. Here we have some video proving my point here, and it is, boop, right here. Here we go. Video proving my point.
Now, I understand everyone's shit's emotional right now, but listen up. I got a 3-point plan to fix everything. Number one, we got this guy not sure.
Here we can see Donald Trump claiming that Elon will solve all our problems. Is there any difference between this guy, Camacho here, and this guy who's Elon? This is where we are. This movie has come to life.
Number two, he's got a higher IQ than any man alive.
The highest IQ, obviously.
And number three, he's gonna fix everything.
There's not an actual plan. How can it be stopped? It can't. President TV guy, our game show host president, has chosen Elon to fix everything because he's told us that he's the smartest guy in the room and the smartest guy ever. We're in the middle of the Idiocracy movie right now. The president is a TV game show host that gets in front of a camera as often as possible to tell jokes, spread memes, and tell his fans what they want to hear. Truth is unnecessary. Facts are whatever he says they are. And Brondo is what plants crave because it has electrolytes. And if you want to argue with that, you can't. Because he said it. And what he says is true. And 40%, maybe even 30% of America believes. They're true believers. That's the problem. Belief is the problem. They believe Brondo is good for plants because it's what plants crave. They believe that it's got electrolytes, and that's what plants crave. They believe in Elon. They believe he is rooting out and auditing corruption right now. That's what my YouTube comments have said in the past couple of days. If you go to the YouTube, you can check out my amazing comments going over to YouTube. But the people in the comments, someone actually said he's rooting out corruption. Elon is rooting out the corruption. If you're watching, you're probably not. You're an idiot. I'm not going to call you out by name, but he is not rooting out corruption. He is just chopping off things he does not understand. Elon does not know why we pay farmers to grow food because he's an idiot. Elon does not appreciate the scientific work that is done by the government because he's an idiot. Elon does not know why we give money to foreign nations because he's an idiot. And we're being run by the dumbest among us. They're ruining all of our systems. They're ruining all of our well-built society. They're crushing it. They're destroying it. And on this same topic, since I was looking for things like this might be a slight detour, but here's Nancy Mace screaming slurs inside the House of Congress. Anti-trans Republican Nancy Mace doubles down on dehumanizing transphobic slur during a hearing. Here we go. We can hear her. I might get kicked off for this, but she's Nancy Mace. She's in the fucking government. This is what she did.
USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala.
That's a good thing, Nancy. If you don't think it's a good thing, you're an idiot. But let's have her continue. She thinks this is some sort of fucking nightmare because she's stupid.
So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens
Yes, literally.
for trannies in Guatemala to the
Yes, literally it does. It literally does. But you're too stupid, small-brained to know it.
tune of $2 million?
Mr. Chairman, parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, sir.
The gentlelady has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community. And let me please finish without interruption. And
Tranny. I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Let
How is she any different than this?
Why you think you done it?
Okay, number one, Your Honor. Just look at him.
Just look at him.
He talks like a fag, too.
And B, we've got all this, like, evidence of how, like, this guy
Evidence.
didn't even pay at the hospital. And I heard that he doesn't even have his tattoo. I know. And I'm all, you gotta be shitting me. But check this out, man. Judge should be like, guilty. Peace.
I know. It is the volume didn't come out too good. I had to turn it up. Sorry. But just look at him. He looks like a slur word. Yeah. How is she any different than this guy? She's not. That's what she's doing. She's doing exactly what that lawyer did. Sorry about the low volume. Evidence, nerd shit. Absolutely 10 past 11. Evidence has to be weighed and measured. Weighing and measuring is nerd shit. And Nancy Mace doesn't have time for that kind of nerd shit. This is where we are now. Rewatch that movie if you have a chance, and look at the background. See all the destruction around in the background. Garbage uncollected. The cities are in disarray. The White House has walls crumbling. No one knows how the economy works. They just do what their rudimentary AI tells them to do to make the line go up because their systems have collapsed. You and I are inches away from all of those systems collapsing right now. That's why I say that America died on February 3rd. We're not a country of systems working together to provide for the people any longer. The government structure that we knew has changed into something far more reactionary. No longer will it be slow and plodding. Good job, Elon. Government's not going to be slow anymore, but it will be fast and reckless. The actions Trump and Elon have taken will take years and billions of dollars to undo. If we even survive, we might not have the time or the money to fix this stuff. The systems are about to collapse. We will become the Cybertruck of countries. Hang on we will become the Cybertruck of countries. Ugly, expensive, dysfunctional, on fire, and admired only by idiots. And that's the rant for today. Quick trial. Yeah, capitalism died. Well, I don't think capitalism died, trader. God, no. Capitalism didn't die. No. Capitalism is going to get better from this. They're going to get stronger from this. They will replace the government. The government has died. The systems of determining what's good for the people have died. The capitalism is killing it. Elon is only allowed to do what he's doing because of all the giant capital he has. He's born rich. He comes here illegally, but that doesn't matter. Nobody cares. He has enough money to skirt the law. If you have enough money, you can just ignore the law. If you have enough money, you can just dodge all the responsibilities. You can dodge all of the consequences that normal people have to suffer. He's allowed to just go in and buy all this stuff. He bought the election. He paid lots and lots and lots and lots of money and then offered free money to people who support him. He was a liar and it was illegal, but it doesn't matter. Who cares that the things he did in Pennsylvania, promising people money for voting for Trump, are illegal? Who cares? He can just buy his way past it. All capitalism. Well, you're right, Trader Todd. That is crony capitalism. But that is where capitalism goes if the government doesn't control it. It has to be counteracted by the people, for the people, of the people, by the people. The people have to organize to control and counteract capitalism. That's how it has to happen. There is only one thing that can prevent crony capitalism. That is government. People coming together, holding hands for the good of the people, saying, no, that is illegal. The thing that can stop Elon Musk and his buying of the government is when the people come together and say that it is illegal to pay people for votes. Crony capitalism is the unchecked capitalism. It's and the check is government. There's only two things. A government that is overpowered has to be checked by the capitalism, and the capitalism that's overpowered has to be checked by the government. Capitalists own both now. Capitalists own capitalism, obviously, and they own the government. Donald Trump is a businessman. He's super rich. He's super important. He has all this money. Everybody who supports him thinks that he's a genius businessman who's run all these amazing companies, and they know his name, and he has his name on a building. That means he's brilliant. And they've hired Elon Musk to do business, to cut the waste. But he's wrong. He's an idiot. They've been tricked. They've been fooled. They've been bamboozled by these things. Yeah, and you're right. Let's hope the people figure this stuff out, or else the cronies will own everything. You're right. The people, or some of the people, are figuring it out. The rest of the people aren't going to figure it out because they appreciate it. They actually want these things to happen. Have you been to right-wing sites lately? They're all about this shit. They love the idea of people, of the government collapsing. They hate the government because they've been told to hate the government by the corporate-owned media. The people on the right believe the government is bad. They believe that it is too slow. They believe that it is stealing their money for nothing. It is stealing their money and giving it to shrimp treadmills. You know, that's what they think is happening. They're wrong. They benefit from farmers growing food. I'm willing to bet some of those farmers voted for Trump and are now going to be upset that they are not going to be paid anymore. When Nancy Mace talked about the money going to certain groups outside of the U.S., you said that it was a good thing. Can you please explain for everyone? U.S. aid, giving money to other countries to solve their problems, makes them our friend, makes them our ally. If you are nice to people, they'll be nice to you. If you are generous with your friends, they will appreciate you. They will be more friendly towards you. Do you have, I know I'm talking to chatters online, but do you have friends in real life? I do. I assume you do. You know, all the normal, regular people in my chat clearly have friends in real life. If you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you in return. Being nice to those other countries means that they'll be nice to us in return. Robbing your friends, pointing a knife at your best friend and saying, give me money, like Trump did with Canada and Mexico the other day, is a way for them to dislike you. You see? Something international diplomacy. Yeah. Like specifically the transgender stuff, though. The transgender stuff is helping the people. I don't know the specifics of that individual program, but helping transgender people in South America with their medical bills is fine. I want to help everybody with their medical bills. The government should be doing things to help people. That's what the government is for. That's its purpose. Defend the people, work for the people, collect taxes to help the people. That's what they ought to do. And this country had a problem. We gave them some money to solve that problem. The country is now happier and better, and people's lives are better. And hopefully, in the idea of international diplomacy, they will be happier and think nicely of us. And when we need to do deals, when we need to build a port, when we need to do, I don't know, some sort of global moving around, they'll be nice to us. We're making friends. Give us your politics is based on feelings spiel, please. I'm trying to remember. All politics are based on feelings. Left, right, center, all of them. I feel like women should have the right to vote. There's no mathematical formula for that. There is no axiom for women should be allowed to vote. That's just a feeling I have. It's a feeling they have. There's no law of nature. There's no Newton's third law of women's suffrage. It's not a scientific law. It's a feeling. I feel like trans women are women because they have told me that they are. I have listened to the feelings that they have. I'm not a trans woman, so I don't know what their feelings are. You listen to them, and they feel like they're women. And so I respect their feelings and tell you, trans women are women. This is a feeling. Conservatives, the hard right, I'm not saying you specifically, Trader Todd. When I talk about conservatives, I'm talking about today's conservatives. If you want to, I'll try and use a different word, but MAGA. I'll use MAGA. MAGA feels like trans women are icky and gross and disgusting. They feel disgust when they see one. They feel difficult feelings, and then they start to legislate against them. All politics are based on feelings. If you get down to the bottom, why do, let's take any other right-wing policy, right-wing gun policy. There you go. Republicans do not want gun control, right? It's very common, very solid on the right. Do not let the government control the guns. Why? Because they feel like they need those guns to protect themselves, because they feel afraid of being without one. They feel like they are going to be attacked, and they do not want to feel like a victim. They don't want to have someone rob them because that makes them feel bad. Having your money taken from you at knife point when you don't have a weapon makes you feel afraid, makes you feel bad, makes you feel lost, makes you feel aggrieved. If your car gets broken into, you park, you go away, and you have a good time with your friends, you come out, your window's broken and stuff is stolen from your car. You feel attacked. You feel harmed. You feel like you have been damaged. And you have. I respect that feeling. I understand that if my car got broken into and my stuff were gone, I would also feel those feelings. But I wouldn't then create policy outlawing homelessness. But that is what the Republicans tend to do. They say, okay, this feeling that I have, we need to legislate to prevent that feeling. All politics are based on feelings. They always have been. Your Ben Shapiro, you've probably heard of him, says facts don't care about your feelings. This is they have bumper stickers all over the place. They have that, Ben Shapiro still has that sticker on his laptop as he's doing streams. It says facts don't care about your feelings. This is a rhetorical trick. All conservative positions, all Republican positions, all politics on the left and the right and the center are based on those feelings that we have. He has simply redirected what is a conservative feeling and called it common sense. Common sense is a feeling. Republicans who are against gay marriage feel like it's common sense that two dudes can't get married. That's just common sense. They can't have children. They can't get married. That's ridiculous. Common sense says that marriage is between one man and one woman. That's just how they feel, man. Common sense is that you should build a nuclear family in the suburbs with 2.5 children and be cisgendered, hetero, white, straight, Christian. That's common sense. That's just their feelings on how they would like for things to go. All politics are based on feelings. Yes, they can't. They cry like they're the victims. Exactly. Thanks. I'll apply that to my viewpoints from time to time. It's a great way of looking at politics. Thank you, Trader Todd. I appreciate that. I often get pushback from it from people who don't want it to be true. Fact-based logic lords are all over the internet. I don't know if you've been to the internet, but it's filled with fact-based logic lords who will give you the stats and the numbers of any issue they want. And they feel like, and I think they've got it backward. Anybody who's spitting facts and logic and numbers at you is giving you those facts and logic and numbers to back up the feeling that they have as being correct. Fine, I accept that. You can look at crime rates and determine why the crime rates are happening and then do policy based on those crime rates. Fine. Why are you doing that? Because you feel like crime is a problem. You feel like you don't want to be robbed. You feel like people being robbed is bad for them. Tax policy. Why do the left and right? The left and right have different tax policies, obviously, clearly. But it's a feeling. Even tax policy. You can look at the numbers. You can look at the percentages. You can look at the economy. And you can look, and the economy is all based on feelings as well. I'll get to that in a sec. But you can look at the policies that these people are pushing, and you'll know that they push for a certain tax policy so that they might pay less and others will pay more. The people who don't deserve a tax break, the people on the right generally say that it's the poor people, it's the bums that don't deserve a break. If you are discussing deserve, that's a feeling. You feel like someone doesn't deserve a tax break. The left feels like the people on top don't deserve a tax break. Often the people on the left don't think that the rich deserve the money they have because they got it through exploitative means. Exploitation is a feeling. You feel like Elon Musk exploited the workers that work for him. Exploitation is not on the periodic table. It's not there. Helium's there, sure. Hydrogen, gold, iron, those things are there. Mercy? Mercy's not on the periodic table anywhere. Never found it. Justice? Nowhere to be found. There is no molecule of justice. It's a feeling. Those feelings exist only within human heads, which is why I get a lot of pushback on this one. I do get a lot of pushback on when I suggest logic is also just a feeling. The logic lords don't like that. The people on the internet say that there's feelings and then there's logic. They both exist only within your head. Feelings of anger exist only within your head. Feelings of sadness exist only within your head. Feelings of logic exists only within the human mind. Rocks don't have logic. Trees don't have logic. Sometimes, I mean, you can see animals use logic. You can see an ape look at the thing, move the thing, eat the thing underneath. You know, logic exists only within your head. Logic, I think, is closer to being a feeling than most people want to accept. I'm going to buy a Pew Pew today just for sport. Exactly. Good job, 10 past 11. You're getting ready for what I think is going to happen is everything is going to collapse. We're going to have a lot of collapse. To get back on topic, thank you for coming in, Trader Ton. I appreciate you. If you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up. Because I'm just going to rant for the next third and riff for the next few minutes. The collapse that I think is going to come is because the systems are going to fail. Just like when I was talking about the school and all the side effects, the farmers are not going to get paid. They're not going to work, or they're going to have to sell their farms, or they're going to go bankrupt. And they're going to lean on the government. They're going to ask the government. They're going to ask their community. They're going to ask their friends. They're going to be without all that money that was coming from the government. Will it affect your taxes? Yeah. Great. You're not paying. I'm a taxpayer. I'm not going to pay for U.S. aid to pay those farmers any longer. But those farmers are going to ask for government handouts. They're going to be starving. So I'm going to pay for that. Couldn't we just pay them to do some work that would help everybody anyway? The systems that exist aren't there by accident. They didn't spring up out of the ground like a goddamn mushroom. They are there intentionally. That farm aid that Elon is slashing and not going to pay for any longer was put there for a reason, because paying farmers is always a good idea. Pay them, have them grow food, sell the food, even if it's not to Americans, even if it's to South American countries. That'll make the South American countries happy. It'll make them feel good. It will keep the human beings alive. And if you keep the human beings of another country alive, their country will like you and be friendly. This is soft power. This is diplomacy, not democracy. This is diplomacy. Soft power. Donald Trump and Elon are too stupid to comprehend soft power. They don't know how soft power works. They only know hard power, military, guns, force, stomp into the building, put your own server in place. Laws, regulations, and judges are all too soft for Donald Trump and Elon. If Elon wanted to change U.S. aid the proper way, they would put together a bill, they would put together a proposal, they would get it to the Congress would look at it, they would read it, they would argue about it, they would vote on it, and then the Senate would vote yes or no, and then the president would sign it into law. That's all nerd shit. That's all weak, soft democracy. And they don't have time for that shit. They need to act now. Action for action's sake. Because they're fascists. Would it make them feel better if we just gave them the food? Would it make them feel better if we just gave them the food? Well, sure. For the other country, we're giving it away. Usually. I mean, the USAID is giving that food to the people. We're paying American farmers to make it. That makes them happy. Then they grow food and they do a good job. Growing food is good for humans. Then if we have too much, we give it to other countries and stuff like that. And it costs the American taxpayer. Yes, it does. Good things cost money. They always have. They always will. Good things cost money, time and resources. That's all there is. Time and resources. If it's good for you to have that crop, you either need to pay someone to do it, or you need a government to pay someone to do it, and you pay into the government. Those are the only two options. If we want food, there's only two ways to do it. Government, everybody coming together to pay the people to make the food because it benefits all of us. That's option number one. Option number two, capitalism. We pay them to do it. That's all. Or you can do it yourself, but I would suggest that's still sort of a government. If I started my own corn field in my front yard, I would be in charge of that. I would be the president of Waldo Cornfield, and I would run it. And if it fails, I might suffer. But how does that save the West? It benefits us, but it doesn't save us. It benefits. And if you get 1,000 benefits and 1,000 good things, and if you pay Guatemala for their to make trans people feel better, and you pay and you give Colombia some food, and you give Chile some oil and you give Ecuador some like military support when they need it, then all of these tiny benefits add up to a large web of systems that benefit you overall and create a society, a world, a thousand tiny little points of connectivity that bring us all forward together. It de-isolates us. It brings us into it removes isolation from us. And that's how it saves us. Being part of a society is better than the alternative, which is anti-society, which is antisocial, which is every man out for himself, every country out for themselves, every state out for themselves, every town out for themselves. And maybe we'll just go back to raiding neighboring villages. That sounds like a bad idea. Society is preventing us from raiding Canada. Donald Trump is against that idea. He wants to raid Canada. He wants to raid Mexico. He wants to raid Colombia, or the Panama Canal. He wants to raid Panama because it has something valuable, and he wants to take it and make sure that he is the one that benefits the most. He's anti-society. He's antisocial. These are not good ideas. These will lead to danger, to warfare, to strife, to people fighting, to violence. Society is the answer to violence. It is. Having a society of laws and regulations and rules prevents people from just doing whatever the hell they want. And when the richest man in the world, who owns the largest communication device ever in human history, stomps into the government, starts putting his own equipment in, disregarding the rules, disregarding the law, disregarding all of the judges that are telling him to stop, it trickles down and it trickles around to nobody else having to respect the law. Donald Trump does not respect the law. He does not respect the rules, and he does not care for anything that he does not agree with. Hi, Fashion Killer. Thanks for coming in. We're complaining about society, and I'm on the pro-society side. Donald Trump seems to be on the anti-society side. Elon is on the anti-society side as well. Kind of against human rights, you know. So if they don't care about the laws, they don't care about the rules, why would they care about your rights? It's just another rule written down. Your First Amendment is only a rule written down that society will try to respect. But they're anti-society. They don't care. If harming your rights gets them more money, they will. If harming your rights, especially, Donald Trump himself has tried to get rid of the 14th Amendment. It's in the Constitution. It's part of the Constitution, but he doesn't care. He doesn't like it. Get rid of it. It made for a better society. It literally made for a better society. The 14th Amendment was the one about slavery, because anyone born in the country is a citizen. They didn't know what to do about the slaves back then. Are they American citizens or are they African citizens? We don't know. Can we get rid of them? Do they have rights? Do they have regulations? Anyone born in America is an American citizen. Donald Trump hates this because it helps society. He's anti-society. He's anti-social. They want to get rid of it because they hate the people who are coming here and using our society to benefit themselves. The society, what little of it they actually appreciate, should be benefiting Donald Trump. Poor people coming here on a visa, having a baby, and having their anchor babies does not help Donald Trump. It does not benefit him. He is actually against it. So he'll try and shoot it down. Waldo has the attention of this conservative. People need to have civil discourse or else society will be destroyed. I agree completely. Trader Todd. And I think Elon Musk is doing the opposite of that right now. He's not having civil discourse. He is doing authoritarianism. He's going in and taking charge, being in control. And if he has the Treasury, which is the one, I think he started at USAID and the Treasury intentionally. He's smart enough to know that's where all the money is. If he can control the Treasury, if he can decide who gets paid and who doesn't, and Donald Trump simply allows him to do so, It won't matter what the court says. It won't matter what laws are passed. Chuck Schumer, I showed Chuck Schumer on Wednesday with his super cute little press conference where he passed Stop the Steal Act, and it won't pass. He's suggesting a law that will prevent Elon from doing the thing that's already illegal, and he's already doing. What good does that do? Nothing. Elon does not respect the law. He does not respect you. He does not respect your society. He does not respect the judges. He will do whatever he wants, and we can't lawfully stop him. Physically, he could be stopped. But that way leads to violence. And that's why the Democrats are trying to avoid it. I see that what they're doing. I see that Chuck Schumer can't physically send troops or law enforcement agents to stop him. That would be the responsibility of the executive branch. Donald Trump is the executive branch. He wants these things to happen. That is why some guy, let's look at some guy again real quick. Where's some guy? There's some guy. That's why some guy is standing here. Some guy is standing here, and he's actually literally wearing a brown shirt. I wish I couldn't. Bro, I'm not making it up. Motherfucker wearing a brown shirt. Just saying. He's wearing a brown shirt. What he wants in his brown shirt is for the congressman or the protesters to hassle him, to push him, to shove him, to move him out of the way so that he can play the victim. He can fall down and act hurt. He wants a red card. If we're talking football terms, he wants that red card. He's going to act hurt. He's going to take the fall, and he's going to act hurt. And he's going to cry and scream and whine. And then Donald Trump will have his reasoning. He will have an excuse to ratchet up the violence, to go one step beyond them. They are protesting now, and they are using their voice now. If anybody gets arrested, if anybody gets wrestled with, if anybody gets attacked, Donald Trump will say that they are the victim. He'll say that some guy is the victim and that we need more police. We need a crackdown on these radical Dems. We need violence to prevent the violence. And he will use, I suspect, the sovereign wealth fund that I talked about last time to pay for more and more and more some guys to put on brown shirts. He'll just do that. He'll just pay them out of his sovereign wealth fund to do what he says and be responsible to him. And since the Supreme Court has said that he has authority and immunity to crime while president, they'll be paid by the president, they'll be directed by the president, and they will fall under his immune to crime umbrella. You won't be able to prosecute some guy. If some guy was being paid by Donald Trump to stand here, he might be immune to crimes, or else maybe he isn't immune to crimes, but Donald Trump would be immune to crime, and he would say that this guy did the thing on his authority, and then he would pardon him. Great. Some guy opened fire, but Donald Trump paid him to be there, and so quick trial, he is guilty, but then Donald Trump pardons him, lets him out. All of that would be legal. And that's why I'm worried. That's why I'm nervous. That's why I think this is a bad idea. This is an authoritarian takeover. This is a coup. Elon is doing it. He's running it. And there are only two options left: comply or violence. That's it. We comply with what he's done. We comply with him cutting the aid. And then maybe the people will get upset. And maybe, if we're lucky, those Minnesota farmers, the farmers across the Midwest, all cry and complain, and then they spend extra money, extra time to put these things back in place. That is kind of the habit over the past month of Donald Trump. He has been saying he'll do an extreme thing. We all freak out about the extreme thing. Then he walks it back. He did this with the tariffs. Giant tariffs, biggest tariffs ever. It's going to make us billions of dollars. Mexico gave us nothing. He walked back. He promised tariffs on China. They gave us nothing. and he walked it back. Same with the Chinese tariffs. Promised the tariffs. They gave us nothing. He walked it back. Maybe, if we're lucky, Elon will also walk it back when the people start pushing against him, if we're lucky. But it doesn't have to happen. The walkback does not have to happen. The coup is already happening. The walkback from the coup doesn't have to happen. I would like it to happen, but it might not. If the coup does continue, we have only the two options: comply with it, accept those things, and try and fix them next time, or violently stop them, physically stop them from doing it. At some point, if the coup continues and continues and continues, and they hurt more people, people will start hurting back. The violence will come from the people, rather than just good old Maxine Waters here. She's not doing anything. She's also there to get rassled. I'm not taking sides here. I'm not a centrist either. I'm definitely a leftist. But Maxine Waters is there to get roughed up by the cops. She wants it too. But she wants it so that she can use it as a talking point. Look what the authoritarian fascists did to me. And brown shirt guy there wants her to rough him up so that he can go onto the camera and say, look what the authoritarian leftists did to me. They're both there to get the violence happening and start it. They're both, it's kindling. It's a tinderbox. It's kindling. It's ready to explode right there, right now. And I don't think it's going to get any better. And over the past, maybe things chill out. I don't know. I really only think there are two options: you comply with them or violently stop them. Let's see. I think that's the rant for today. I have another thing to talk about today, and it is bad. I told you, have the Emo Waldos in chat ready to go. So it's time for Emo Waldos to come out. There's Emo Waldo in chat. He is, it's time for Emo Waldo to come out because there's another executive order to read about. Let's look at it. Let's read it. I haven't read it yet. I just saw that it popped out recently, February 7th, so yesterday. I haven't had a chance to read this one. Establishment of the White House Faith Office. I am an atheist, so I am unhappy about this. Let's see what it says. By authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, and to assist faith-based entities. Why do they need your assistance, Donnie? Why do they need your assistance? They don't. They have lots of money and power and authority. They don't need your assistance. Community organizations and houses of worship in the effort to strengthen American families. Boss, if you think religion helps families, you've never known anyone. You've never known any of them. Promote work and self-sufficiency and protect religious liberty. It is hereby ordered. Faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship have tremendous ability to serve individuals, families, and communities through means that are different from those of government and with a capacity and effectiveness that often exceeds that of the government. I don't think that they're all that different. How does a house of worship help people? Same way the government does. They have a constituency that they collect money from, dues, tithes. They don't call it taxes. They call it tithes. Completely different word, Waldo. They use those taxes to then, they collect the taxes. Then their higher-ups, their elected officials within the church, who are there based on the feelings of the people that put them in charge. If you're an important person in the church, it's because you did work for the church, and they all think that you're great, and they chose to elevate you. That person decides who to give the money to based on their own criteria. This is a government. It's a very tiny little government, but it is. If you had a church with 50 people, and they all tithe a certain amount, the leader of that church could then decide what to do with that money. Maybe he buys new Bibles. Maybe he buys new pews. Maybe he sends it and gives it to homeless people. That's what the government does. It's literally what the government does. It takes money through taxes, and then the people in charge decide what to do with that money to help the people. If they're smart, if they're a good working, properly government, they help the people. These organizations lift people up, keeping families strong, and solve problems at the local level. The executive branch wants faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship to the fullest extent permitted by law to compete on a level playing field for grants, contracts, programs, and other federal funding opportunities. And there is the problem. I am going to pay taxes, and those taxes are going to go to the government, and the government is going to give it a church, and the church is going to keep it or give it to anti-LGBT fucking organizations. They're going to harm people they don't like. They don't feel like they like gay marriage, so they are going to try to harm it with money. There's Yuma Waldo. Good call, Shinsinto. There it is. The efforts of faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship are essential to the strengthening families and revitalizing communities. No, they're not. They're opposite of that. They are not going to strengthen families or revitalize communities. They are going to hate the people that they already hate. And the federal government welcomes opportunities to partner with such organizations through innovative, measurable, and outcome-driven initiatives. The executive branch is committed to ensuring that all executive departments and agencies honor and enforce the Constitution's guarantee of religious liberty and to ending any form of religious discrimination by the federal government. This is going to be the opposite. Only straight white Christian organizations will get this money. There will be none of this money going to Jewish people. There will be none of this money going to Muslims. There will be none of this money going to Mormons. Maybe some of it will go to Mormons, but unlikely. There will be none of this money going to any other religion except Protestant, evangelical Christianity. They are the only ones who will get this money. So making policy in deference to a specific religion. Yes, they are literally making policy in deference to one religion. And which is why this will be attacked by the courts. And the lawyers will say that this is an illegal anti-First Amendment order. And of course it is. Donald Trump doesn't care about the First Amendment. He doesn't give a shit about the religious liberty. He wants the power, and he wants these people to have the power because they gave him votes. He gives them power and money. Let's see. Does one have anything to say? Executive orders. He's rescinding certain executive orders. He's just rescinding things. Establishment of the White House Faith Office is established within the Executive Office of the President and the White House Faith Office. The office shall have lead responsibility in the executive branch to empower faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship to serve families and communities. Give them money. If you go there and bend the knee, they will give you money that was collected from taxpayers who don't have a fucking choice. They pay the taxes or they go to jail. The office shall be housed in the Domestic Policy Council. It's fine. Set up a law. Lawyer speak, lawyer speak, lawyer speak. Anything here? Okay. These experts and leaders shall be identified based on their expertise in a broad range of areas in which faith-based entities, community organizations, and houses of worship operate, including protecting women and children. This means harming gay people. Strengthening marriage and family. This means harming women. Lifting up individuals through work and self-sufficiency. This means harming the poor. Defending religious liberty. This means harming Muslims. Protecting women and children will simply mean you can't let trans people anywhere near them. You have to fight against trans teachers. You have to fight against gay teachers. You have to fight against allowing trans people into bathrooms. Strengthening marriage and family just means that you can't allow women to get divorced for no good reason. And even if there is a good reason, they have to go through the church and church counseling before they're allowed to divorce their husband. They are no longer have the freedom to divorce their husband if they feel like it. Feelings are not a good enough reason in a conservative country to divorce people. Your feelings are not important. What matters is that you strengthen your marriage for the state. What's that? He's not nice to you? Too bad. What's that? She's not good to you? Too bad. Your marriage needs to stand together for the strength of the state. Fucking fascism. Lifting up individuals through work and self-sufficiency. This means forcing people to work before you give them food. And that will be protected under these churches. These churches will allow, we'll give some money to the poor. We'll give some food and assistance to the poor if they work for it, if they sit through the church sermon. You want a free bowl of soup, homeless guy? Well, listen to this 1 hour sermon about how you are a problem. If you want a bowl of soup, work for the church. And defending religious liberty just means defending bigotry. The people of the church will be bigots. They always are. The first thing that a church does is separation. The very first thing that any church anywhere does is segregation. Us, them. That is the very first thing that any religion does. We within this religion believe this, and you don't. Segregating themselves. Self-segregation is the first thing that all religion does. You can't have a religion without first self-segregating, without first saying, here is what I think. I think that Legos are holy, and that's my religion. I'm the Lego religion now. I have segregated myself. Because do you think that Legos are holy? No, you don't. I have begun segregation. I have begun the separation between myself and you. I can convince you. I might tell you about the good book of Lego and how Legos are a holy artifact from God himself, and I could maybe convince you to come to my side. But I have a side. You are no longer on the other side. It's now you and me, segregated from everyone else. And then you and I go out and we segregate some more. Segregation is the first thing that all religion does. First thing, you can't even have a religion unless you've started the segregation. So defending religious liberty in this context will be defending the segregation, defending the bigotry, and defending themselves against lawsuits when they break the law, when they harm society, and we all complain about it. They will defend themselves and call it religious liberty. They have the liberty, they have the freedom to be bigots. That is what that sentence means. Defending religious liberty means I'm allowed to be a bigot and you can't sue me about it. This is going to go badly. Combating anti-Semitic and anti-Christian and additional forms of anti-religious bias. Promoting foster care and adoption programs in partnership with faith-based entities. This means that gay people don't get to adopt children anymore. There are children right now that would love to be adopted by a pair of gay people, but they're not going to be allowed to. It would help that child. It would get them out of a bad orphanage or something like that, but they can't because it's two dudes or two women. And this will protect them. This executive order will allow people to be bigots and say, you don't get to adopt children because there's too many penises in this marriage. There are 2 penises in this marriage. That means you are not allowed to adopt anyone. Bigotry. Plain and simple. The thing is, religious liberty would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that, it'll be freedom for my religion and my religion alone. Exactly, Fridge Makara. If this was everyone doing everything all the time, it would be a little bit better off. But it won't be. We're in America. We're a Christian nation. And the Christians get extra rights. That's what this bill is about, giving Christians extra rights, super powers that nobody else gets to have. Let's see. What else do we have? Providing wholesome and effective education. Education. Preventing and reducing crime and facilitating prisoner reentry. If you're an atheist in jail, you'll get more time. But if you say the words, say the magic words, believe the magic book, they'll be able to cut your sentence in half. They'll lower your sentence because you said the magic words. Amazing. Promoting recovery from substance abuse and disorder. This is about the 10-step programs and all that fun stuff, and fostering flourishing minds. That's a disgusting joke. Fostering flourishing minds. Religion does not make flourishing minds. It creates thought-terminating cliches. Make recommendations to the president, assistants, lawyer speak. Convene meetings with representatives. Great. Advise the implementation through the federal government of those aspects of my administration's policy agenda aimed at enabling faith-based entities. Blah, blah, blah. Showcase innovative initiatives by faith-based entities, community organizations, house worship that serve to strengthen individuals, families, and communities throughout the United States. Capacity to procure grants. Tax money from you and me will go to these churches to do bigotry. And I don't like that idea. Conservatives in the past have complained that they don't want their tax money going to poor people, or the Cadillac, what was it? The welfare queens who drive Cadillacs. Conservatives, I hear you. You don't want your tax money came from your hard work to go to Cadillac driving welfare queens with 9 kids. Great. Those don't exist. They're not real. They're not getting out one over on you. They're not tricking you. They're not choosing not to work to feed off of your tax dollars. Hasn't happened. Doesn't really happen. The Fox News will scare you and show you the homeless guy that eats lobster every day. They're lying to you to make you feel things. And when you feel those things, you will cut taxes for the rich. They benefit the most from those tax cuts. All politics are based on feelings, especially this one. These religious feelings, these feelings of bigotry, these feelings that common sense says there has to be one penis and one vagina in every marriage, are just that. They're just feelings. And we're going to give them money. I'm going to have to give them money, even though I don't want to. They're taking my tax dollars and giving it here. This is why you need to pay attention to politics. This is why you need to know what they're doing and then vote against the things that you don't like. I recognize that if we wanted to, if you want to give your tax money to a government that then gives it to somebody who does bigotry, that's what we voted for. That's what we voted for. And that's why I would suggest we shouldn't vote for that. We need laws, we need rules that prevent the bigotry and then prevent the government from giving money to places of worship. That should not be legal. Should not be allowed to give tax money to the church. That should be illegal. It kind of is. It might be slightly because of the First Amendment, but the lawyers are going to jump all over this motherfucker. The lawyers are all over this thing because it's super duper illegal right now. Let's keep reading. However, honestly, I've been watching American politics more than my own country's politics. One is just far more popcorn worthy than the other. You're right. The American politics is far more fun and exciting. That's because we need people to watch it. What are the odds that they deny funding to the Church of Satan? They will. Shinseto, they will. Because this isn't about being fair. It's about picking and choosing which churches get the money. They'll just say, hey, we gave it to all the good churches. This Church of Satan, we didn't have enough for them. You see, we had to give $7 billion to the Catholic Church. And when we were done with that, because that's what they needed, we had none left for the Church of Satan. But you're right, Fridge Makara. The American politics is far more fun. That's why we had to elect a game show host. And I'm British, so, it's got to be some real train wreck going on to outlast the Parliament circus. They do have a circus over there. And Parliament, where they yell at each other, is kind of fun to watch. But, yeah, we've got a game show host. We've got the TV. He's on the TikTok. Far more interesting. He is the main character. Elon is so much more fun to watch, jump around the stage. That's what gets the people votes. That's why on my last YouTube video, I suggested that we need better bumper stickers. And what I'm going to suggest from this point on is we need main characters. The left is missing main characters. They have a few. Bernie's a main character, and people love him. People like him. When he gets up to speak, everybody listens. AOC, another main character on the left. but they're not Democrats. The Democrats don't have main characters. They work their ass off to not be main characters. It's very strange. Greta Thunberg, you know her. You know exactly what she looks like. You can think about her, right? You know exactly who she is. She's a main character. And so when she shows up in the news, when she shows up at the protests, people want to follow her. People want to follow AOC. People want to follow Bernie. Main characters make the American people pay attention. The Dems tend to dissuade that shit. They tamp that shit down. The what was that House member? I think her name was Katie Hill. Katie Hill, young, left-leaning, won a House of Representatives seat, partied with her husband and one of her staffers, got drunk, got high, had a lot of very adult fun with some photos. A couple of weeks later, she divorces her husband. Her husband then posts those nude photos of her. Nancy Pelosi kicked her out because she became a main character. Nancy Pelosi does not want main character. She does not want to be a main character. She is, because she's richest, and the Fox News has turned her into a main character. But she does not want anyone else to do it. She does not want the Dems to be name recognizable. She wants them all to be quiet, silent, and don't stick out. The nail that sticks out is the nail that gets pounded. And so Katie Hill stuck out and got pounded. Giggity. Al Franken stuck out and got pounded. Giggity. AOC sticks out and gets in trouble with Nancy all the time. But she's a main character and the people love her. So we should play Price is Right then when Trump comes out on stage or up on the podium. Yeah. That's why I brought up Camacho earlier, standing around saying memes and saying cool things and shooting a gun into the air. Donald Trump is just a game show host who wants to stand up there, tell jokes. He's a literal clown. He has crazy hair. He has a painted face. His clothes don't fit. And he stands on stage telling jokes. Literally a clown. None of the things he says are true. None of the things matter. He's just doing magic tricks and making the audience laugh and applaud. That's all he wants. That's all he's ever wanted. But now you have to have him running a government. Ugh, yuck. Who cares? Who wants that? Nobody wants that. That's nerd shit. Greta Thunberg is now, is how Zelensky says it. Greta Thunberg. Yeah, you're right. I don't remember how to say it either. I read it more often than I say it. But you know who she is. She's a main character. Zelensky, main character. Jon Stewart, main character. But they're all further left than the Democrats, generally. I think Jon Stewart is to the left of the Democrats. I think Greta is left of the Democrats. Bernie, left of the Democrats. AOC, left of the Democrats. Who is the main character of the DNC? They don't have one. It was Joe Biden for a little bit, but no, we all thought he was too old and boring. Kamala started, Tim Walz became the main character for a couple of weeks during the campaign. Tim Walz became the main character. He started calling, remember when we called all the Republicans weird? He came up with that, and it worked. It was becoming good. People were paying attention. He was all over the news. He was all over the fucking social media. And then they told him to stop. Stop being a main character. Tone it down. Bring it down. Be calm. Be normal. Be plain Jane, everyday vanilla. You're not allowed to be a main character. And they lost. He was further left of the Democrats, and they dragged him to the center and told him to shut the fuck up. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. The DNC hates populism. Yep, they sure do, because they want money. The DNC needs money. So it's contradictory with what they're supposed to be about. And in my opinion, the evidence of the party is a little more than a corrupt performance act. Yeah, I agree. Them backstabbing Bernie was basically akin to them taking a 12 gauge to their foot because, dear God, what if he actually helps people? Well, that's the thing. The DNC makes money if the DNC wins. The DNC makes money. Well, okay, let me say it this way. The DNC makes money if the Democrats win. The DNC makes money if the Republicans win. The DNC does not make money if Bernie wins. So they chose money over principles. The DNC makes money if anyone but the left wins. If the Dems win, the DNC makes money. If the center wins, the DNC makes money. If the right wins, the DNC still makes money. I made a YouTube video about this not too long ago as well. It's just that the left is anti-money. They're anti-capitalism. They're anti-monetary power. If you're a leftist, you don't want runaway capitalism. You don't want capitalism running amok and destroying everything that we've built. But that hurts the bottom line. That hurts somebody's stock portfolio. Some investment banker somewhere needs that number to go up. And they've got the money to pay the DNC to hurt Bernie. They've got the money to pay the Dems to ignore the people and the populism. Populism is not good for the investor class. It's good for people and it's good for the economy if we run it properly, but it is not good for the investor class. It is not good for the Jeff Bezoses. It is not good for the Elons. It is not good for the thousands of very rich investment bankers that exist. They are hurt by populism and they have the money. And in America, money is power. So they have the power. That's all there is to it. I've gotten off topic. Let's see if there's anything else in this very awful faith-based thing here. Let's keep reading. Charitable giving. Consult with the public about private businesses regarding their policies for employee volunteerism, charitable giving, and payroll deductions. the mandatory payroll deductions that your faith-owned company will force upon you. Can you imagine that? There are Catholic hospitals right now. The Catholics hate abortion so much that they just started buying hospitals and then denying the service to people. Are they allowed to like force people to tithe? They might be. If they're not, they're going to be allowed to soon. Payroll deductions. Coordinate with agencies on identifying and promoting grant opportunities for non-profit faith-based entities. Work in collaboration with the Attorney General or a designee of the Attorney General to identify concerns raised by faith-based entities. So suing people who have harmed your bigotry. If anybody stands in the way of the bigotry, the Attorney General will come and get you. Identify the purpose, means, and to reduce burdens of the free exercise of religion, including legislative, regulatory, and other barriers to the full and active participation in the faith-based entities. That means you can't sue people for forcing religion on people anymore. Agency shall, to the extent permitted by law, provide such information, support, or assistance to the office as it may assist in the office of fulfilling this order. So you can, they'll be able to like grant warrants for investigation if you stood in the way of a religious thing. Provisions. Okay, so the rest is just lawyer talk. This is not good. This will be challenged, and if we're lucky, it will get shot down. Honestly, looking at the direction the world is accelerating, I pray for social societal collapse. I appreciate that. The alternative might be worse, and I get the point that you're at. I understand the position you're advocating for here. If it collapses quickly, it might be better than drawing it out for 6 years and then collapsing. I can appreciate that. Is that accelerationism? I don't think so. We're already past the point of no return. We're past the death point. Yeah, Deus Ex Territory. Yeah, for sure. I've made the suggestion that America died on February 3rd when Elon took over when Elon did his coup. We're just simply slowing down. The body is starting to recognize and realize, and all the settings are shutting down. Then if that happens sooner rather than later, maybe we can save some lives. Maybe we can survive it. A cold that lasts a week is less dangerous to you than like COVID that lasts 6 months or something like that. And I appreciate your point there. You recognize the disconnect between money and power. Money shouldn't grant political power. It's simply unfair. I agree that it shouldn't, but it does. Money is power in a capitalist system. We're in a capitalist system. If you regulate that capitalism a bit more, that money will lose some power. If the money can't be given to a senator, then that senator has power that can't be bought. He is outside the capitalist power. If you can't pay a judge, then that's a good thing. Paying judges to run for election is allowed. Some judges are elected, some are appointed, but some of them are elected, and they have to run a campaign with money paid for by capitalists. Capitalism is infecting our government, and it has killed it, I think. As of 5 days ago, capitalism killed the government. The infection that was running rampant has been increasing and increasing and increasing, and it has now killed or gotten us to a terminal state. Let's say that. America is in a terminal state of this capitalist infection. Is it necessary? Yeah, great. I have bacteria in my guts right now. So do you, assuming you're a human and not a robot. You have bacteria that is helpful inside your guts right now. You have bacteria all over your skin. You have bacteria inside you. But if it runs amok, if it is in the wrong place, it will harm you. And that's what I think we've got. Capitalism and government need to work together for a good society. Capitalism is infecting and killing off all of the government. We might be approaching a Cruelty Squad territory. I don't know that game, but I've heard things about it. You're right. I think we have hit the terminal point. We have terminal capitalism cancer. That's where we are right now. The capitalism has spread to our lymph nodes, and it is terminal. The government is about to die, and it will be only capitalism for as long as it can survive. I don't know if it can. It might survive in a Cruelty Squad or Deus Ex Machina way. It might survive, and it will look like Night City, and it will look like the corpos and the filthy corpos and all the cyberpunk futures that they have stuff. Maybe that's the direction we go. I don't want to go that way because I think it will lead to a failure. I really do think there are only 3 options for the future. I don't know, vaguely. Mad Max, which is what I think Donald Trump will lead us to. Mad Max is a future where you live in your car, you don't have any rights, you run around, you have the water wars, and you do pure anarchy. I do think that Donald Trump is leading us that direction. Option number 2, stay as we are, somewhat. We just keep limping along as we are, continue the status quo that we have now. Or option number 3, Star Trek. Those are our options. I think that the left will be more likely to get us to the Star Trek future. Star Trek is communism, right? I mean, you watch Star Trek. They don't have money. They have a state, but it's borderline communism, where everybody works for the state and they all do the thing and they all live in the thing and they all get the food. They don't have to pay for it. They don't have to pay for these things. You do your job. You're given a place within society. That's leftism. Leftism run properly. Best case scenario. I know that it can go wrong. Best case scenario, leftism leads you to Star Trek. Worst case scenario, right wing leads us to Mad Max. And have you ever spoken to a best case scenario has never happened? I know, I agree, which means it has to be fought and organized, and hopefully we can get somewhere close to that. Worst case right wing, we get Mad Max. And if you've ever spoken to somebody from the South or somebody who collects guns, they think they're going to be Mad Max, driving their car, shooting all the bad guys, living their life free and in a crazy anarchy society. But they're not. They're going to be one of the war boys. Okay? They're just going to be one of the nameless, faceless cogs who dies for the king. But they think that they're going to be Mad Max. They're not. They're not. They've collected all the guns and they're just going to be killed in their sleep. And then the war boys are going to work for the warlord, you know? Thank you. Well, no, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and thank you for doing a chat. So those are my predictions, and I know I'm bad. Predicting things is pretty hard, especially the future. But those are the 3 options that I think we have. Mad Max, continue on as we are, or Star Trek. I would like for the Star Trek, and I think you get there by promoting leftism. Worst case scenario is the great empire of Coca-Cola, Amazon, Google. Right. And that is a thing that I think would be, that would fall apart. The Night City, the cyberpunk dystopian future, all of those cyberpunk super amazing empire of Coca-Cola, Amazon, Google. What's right outside the big city? Bandits who are living on the fringes, through the dust, screaming through the desert, killing anyone who steps outside of the city limits. So Mad Max is still happening. It's just over there. And you're only, I think, one bad trading day away from everything falling. The empire of Coca-Cola, Amazon, Google is one failed launch away from becoming Mad Max. Water is patented and costs as much as printer ink. Yeah. All the Zoomers want to be based, though. What does that mean? All the Zoomers want to be based. That means that they think that they'll be Mad Max rather than a war boy, because they're dumb. There's only room for like one Mad Max. There's only one room for one Furiosa, and the vast majority of them aren't even going to be war boys. They'll be the poor people who are standing there begging for water. That's where most of those Zoomers will be, begging for water. It'd fall apart because labor can only get so cheap until the people literally can't live off the job. That's why they see every company go into the robots. Yeah, exactly. The robots who are pushing this ideology, who are holding up the Coca-Cola, Amazon, Google, will break. Something will go wrong. Someone will forget how to operate them. And because of that, everything will collapse. And then we will become the Mad Max society, which is why I don't trust the capitalism to do the right thing. I don't trust capitalism. I would rather trust the people. Let's organize the people properly. Can it go wrong? Yes. Leftism can go wrong. I'm not arguing that. Thunderdome. 10 past 11, you're on board for the Thunderdome, aren't you? That's the opposite of nerd shit. Thunderdome is the opposite of nerd shit. I agree. But if you avoid all the nerd shit, you end up with Thunderdomes. So I appreciate everybody who's here today. I'm about to wrap it up. Thanks for coming. Thanks for clicking the buttons. Thank you for doing the things. Go on over to the, what we got? Here's the thing about robots. Democracies didn't happen because everyone grew a conscience. Democracies happened because the people wanted it. And those democracies are a political entity. Political entities are based on feelings. All politics are based on feelings. So those democracies are put in place by people's feelings. They're forced into place sometimes against the king's wishes. Speaking of America specifically, because that's the history I know about. You are from the UK. I don't know as much about UK history, but I know they are a democracy at the moment. They didn't have a big, exciting revolution because of it. Dictatorships happen whenever a country is not reliant on a satisfied public. Yeah, I would agree. The public doesn't matter what the public wants. Elon's going to do what he wants, which is why I am safe. That's why I feel okay calling him a dictator. The Elon coup is the first step in a dictatorship. It is. Elon's doing a coup, starting off a dictatorship, run by the feelings of Donald Trump. It doesn't matter to Donald Trump what the country feels or is satisfied with. He says it, it's real, it happens. It gets done. He passes the law. He owns the enforcement agencies, so the enforcement agencies enforce his law, even though the courts say that they're not allowed to. They'll just arrest the judges. That's coming. Arresting judges who disagree with Donald Trump is coming. That's coming. Thanks for the conversation, Trader Todd. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. That's right. When a country can function with starving, uneducated peasants, it will have starving, uneducated peasants, which is, I think, coming. That's the Mad Max scenario you're describing. Then I think the starving peasants revolt, and if you're lucky, they move to the left, back toward democracy. If not, they move towards warlords. the government just becomes warlords of tiny little groups of people. Immortan Joe is simply the president, Trump, of his little community. So yeah, I'm about done for today. I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat lunch. Thank you everybody for being here. I will be back on Wednesday. Fridge Makara, feel free to hop into the Discord. Hop on over there to tell us what you're thinking, tell us what you're feeling. Go on over to the YouTube page, and you can see other videos that I've made and old videos. I take all of these streams and they condense them down into YouTube videos that are good for the algorithm usually. Then I turn those into YouTube videos and try and get more people to watch. So I appreciate everybody who's here today. Thank you very much. Yeah, we won't need education anymore. That's why the conservatives are okay with pushing AI and cutting education. The AI is going to do the thinking for us. We don't need the people to do the work anymore. We need the AI to do the work, which is why they're pushing for it, so they can stop giving you money and hire a robot instead. Hire an AI to replace you. I will be back on Wednesday unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag, which they might. So if I'm not here on Wednesday, that's why. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for coming. Press the like button, subscribe button, all those fun buttons. Press the buttons. It makes everybody happier. It will make you a better person if you press those buttons. Go to YouTube, press any button. I don't care what button. Go in there, press the like button, smash the like button, destroy the subscribe button, and spread some hate in the comments, because that's what YouTube does, is it promotes hate. So go in there, spread some hate on my behalf or against me. It doesn't matter. As long as you're hating something on YouTube, they will push me up in the numbers. That's it for me. See you on Wednesday. Goodbye. Have a good day.